Hey, what's up everyone? Here we are, hole 5. A lot of wind to the left here. So one of the things that could be advantageous is going over towards this left fairway over here. It's going to create a straight in look, and also you won't have quite nearly as much of a side wind for your second shot. So in the Masters round, I did go over to this right hand side because it was going to be side wind either way in the Master. A little bit more of a tailwind, I believe, but you'll see that this is going to be almost maybe 8 o'clock wind for your second shot if you get it up there towards the edge of the fairway. So I think this is a good way to go. You can see that's what it looks like my opponent settled on this shot. See if he pulled it off. Looks like he's just leaning and leaning too much. So not able to hold that fairway. And if you can get it up to that very last bit, which I don't think I'll be able to, so I don't have nearly the club as my opponent. So I'm thinking something along the lines of this, kind of just straight top spin, about 5-ish rings. Just a hair under 5 rings here. So that's a pretty bad great ball to the left. I would be very surprised if this holds on. But it did come back. It didn't hold on, but it did come back. So not the worst miss. I would imagine I'm going to have almost... You can see where my opponent is. He gets this very nice straightened up arrow. I don't think I'm going to get quite nearly as good of an arrow because there's no way I got it up to where my opponent did. But if you have, Thor 6, Thor 7, Epoch 6, Epoch 7, I would recommend definitely going over to this left side and just getting this straight into the face wind. If I was my opponent and I would have drove it in the rough, I would have probably maybe just like pitched out and just checked out kind of what the fairway shot would look like to really get practice in some of these shots for when these rounds come in. And you can see with where I am, so you might have to keep two things in mind. You can see I'll almost be in between clubs. If I hit this as hard as possible, there's a chance I get it to grizzly distance, but there's a chance that I am still in sniper. So you'll really want to make sure that you kind of have both shots down. I'm going to try to do, again, a ball guide offset. Anytime there's some elevation, I always try to do some sort of offset method because it's very tough when you're landing on side hills to change your landing zone. So you really want to try to focus on getting as close to this as possible. So I'm going to go maybe 7.5 rings here, which is a little bit about mid-distance with my adjustment. And then also with the ball guide offset, and you can see it still shoots out over to the left. So you want to just be a little bit more stronger with your ball guide offset. But again, landing on these upslopes like this, it's a very tricky thing to do. It's very tricky to get these honed in and perfect each and every time. What you want to do is you want to get these starting points and then just start to tweak until you really get honed in on where you can see that it's going to go like a little bit better. So, I'm just kind of doing this by feel a little bit. And then once I see that adjustment, I'll be like, oh, okay, well, last time it still wound up left. So I'm going to make sure that I offset that ball guide a bit more next time. And that's the kind of mentality that you'll want to have. But it looked like, I pushed it through the hole enough there, as it looks like I still ran it out to the hole, which means more so than anything, I'm just going to need more ball guide offset to the right because my depth looks pretty good. So keep that in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.